No, I'm not assuming that.
Okay, now, that's one assumption you cleared up.
Well,
the other assumption is that how would you get to this piece of legislation?
Well, to get to this amendment, and I'm not saying we're unanimously adopting this amendment.
No, how would we get to it?
It would take unanimous consent.
But that's not going to happen.
And is that because the senator from Charleston is going to object?
Yeah, because here's what you need to do for me. You got to convince me on the floor. You all who for this, you need to convince me on the floor that this is a good idea and something wrong. First of all, you got to convince me there's something wrong with the present system. And then after you convince me of that, then you could convince me why I need to not object to your super amendment.
Well, if you don't like the super amendment, you could vote against it, and then you could vote against the bill.
No.
The real question,
No, because I know better than that. There's no way I would have the votes to do that.
Right.
But right now, unless the rule committee meet and come up with another rule, maybe Senator Larry Martin number 2 or 3, then you could get it up.
Well,
but as long as there's unanimous consent on this legislation, I'm object because nobody have convinced me that something is wrong with the present system.
Well, let me ask you this, Senator. Do you think South Carolina state government is working well right now?
Oh, yeah. Listen, the South Carolina Budget and Control Board, if you do a lesson in civics, any place in this country, and you present that on paper, everybody would agree with it.
Well, I might say that 3 or 4 years ago you could make that argument, Senator, but right now I would tell you it ain't working well at all.
Senator, I seen them guys in action, and they do a jam-up job. And look what you got. You got 3 statewide elected officials. You got the leader of the Senate Finance, and you got the leader of the House of Ways and Means. You can't get no solid than that on revenue issues.
Well, Senator, let's get back to the procedure at hand because we need to work through that. Right now there is about 30, There's about 60 amendments before we would get to the senator from Beaufort's amendment. And we're going to, Senator Hutto has probably 2/3 of them, and I don't see him here. So basically what I'm trying to do is not have us go through 60 amendments.
But you see, I feel different.
You want to go through those amendments?
I think you should go through those amendments because, number one, if you go through those amendments, I might change my mind and feel that y'all doing the right thing.
Yes.
But right now, nobody have convinced
Okay,
me.
I hear you. All right, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain this amendment, and then if there's an consent request, you can object to it.
Senator,
Yes, sir.
Senator, would you convince me, first of all, there's something wrong with the present structure? You haven't done that. No one have done that.
Senator, how long have we been in a suite together?
A long time.
And you know what I've learned through that time?
What?
That I cannot
convince
Robert
Ford. I promise you. Senator, I promise you, if somebody can get up there, or maybe a series of somebody can get up there and convince me there's something wrong with the present system as relates to the Budget and Control Board, if you can do that, then I would let you have your...
Okay, I'm with you. I hear you.
All right.
All right. Now I'm going to talk about this amendment, and then you can object, and then maybe we'll go through those amendments.
No.
And they'll convince you.
But the first convincing is that, tell me what's wrong with the present structure.
I'm with you.
All right.
All right. So, what does this amendment do to fix the present structure, as the senator from Charleston put it? Number one, it tries to segregate out the executive authority from the legislative authority. Senator from Charleston, one of the biggest disasters I've seen with the Budget and Control Board, you listening? Okay. Over the last 2 years, and your friend's other senator from Charleston, who I know we all wish well right now in his absence, would confirm that he thinks it's a huge disaster, was the deficits that were allowed to be run by the governor's cabinet agencies. Over $200 million at HHS. Over $200 million. A Department of Corrections that ran serial deficits. What this amendment would do is it would say all deficits have to be approved by the General Assembly. And who passes budgets in this state? Who passes budgets in every state in the Union, including the United States of America? That power of the purse is given to this body, and we have seen the cabinet agencies flaunt that and run deficits on purpose multiple years. And there is no accountability for that. And one thing that this amendment would do is say that falls within the General Assembly's purview, and deficits won't be run unless the General Assembly either authorizes it or passes a surplus appropriation to cover that amount.
Senator Charleston, what purpose you asking?
Of the year?
Yes, sir.
Senator, that sounds like a standalone piece of legislation. Why can't you introduce that and we'll fix the problem?
Well, I'm telling you, asked me to tell you some of the problems. I'm telling you the problems.
No, but that's not the problem. No, listen to me, please.
All right.
That's not the problem of the Budget and Control Board.
Okay.
What I'm saying to you is that why don't you introduce that as a piece of legislation and let's pass it? And that become the law of the state of South Carolina.
Well, what I would tell you, Senator,
can you blame the Budget and Control Board for those kind of problems? Or can you